In today's Made in the USA segment, we're going to look at a cookware company whose CEO says it's time for America to quit chasing away factories. David Dalquist runs Nordic Ware. It's a cookware company known for making those distinctive bundt cake pans, the ones with the hole in the middle. Well, he has some ideas about what President Obama needs to do to create jobs. David joins us from Minneapolis this morning. And David, welcome to InBusiness. Despite the name, your company does manufacture here in the United States. And in fact, you'd be one of the small businesses to benefit from the proposal to reduce the payroll tax for employers to 3.1%. Now, how many more people do you think you could hire if that happens?
Well, first off, hiring people is dependent on the order book being full. So that's the first thing we got to do is have lots of orders, and that means we need to get money in people's pocketbooks and purses. So my ears perked up when he talked about these tax reductions and for the consumers. We're dependent on consumers having disposable income, and then they can buy our products.
Right. Well, the president wanted to really focus on the small businesses like yours and reduce your cost of hiring, at the same time expanding and extending those payroll tax benefits for consumers to put more cash in their pocket. Does that extra $1,500 someone would get in their pocket translate to sales for you?
Well, it definitely does. We employ about 500 people at Nordic Ware. We've added something like 20 since the first of the year, and this will make us more likely to hire more people in the months ahead.
And this is your busy season to be manufacturing right now. Now, why is it that you've kept manufacturing in the United States when you could hire cheaper labor overseas?
Well, that's a good question. 20 years ago, all of the cookware and bakeware and things you use in your kitchen were made here in America. And as over the last decade or so, we've seen all of our competitors go overseas, and we're just one of a handful of people that are still making pots and pans here in America. Now, a lot of things chased them over there. Certainly wages was part of it, but a lot of these onerous regulations that kept coming down made it harder and harder for companies, factories to upgrade and comply. We committed ourselves at Nordic Ware to stay current and keep up with the latest regulations, and we've done it. But I know that a lot of companies just gave up and went overseas.
Now, what regulation are you talking about? I know you don't. You try not to hire union workers.
Well, certainly the union has been a problem. Our industry was heavily unionized traditionally, and I think that probably was a big factor in driving the competition overseas. But I think a lot of the environmental regulations that came along, air and water and those kinds of things, they took a lot of upgrades to these factories. It tended to be an industry that had old factories that needed extensive upgrading to meet the requirements, and people just said, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to China. And so they packed up and left. Meanwhile, it put us in a position of having to invest heavily in our facilities to keep it modern and to meet the regulations. And of course, today we're the benefactor of that because our business is prospering right now, and we're doing very well.
Now, how much pressure are the people at the stores who buy your products putting you under? That is, the retailers themselves.
Well, it's very hard to get price increases, certainly, so that's been a problem, and we've been running up against much higher commodity costs in the last 18 months, so that impacts our business adversely. And I think probably the biggest thing this country can do to encourage manufacturing to come back is to balance our own budget so we have a stronger dollar, so that that puts both money back into consumers' pockets, and it makes American businesses prosper.
David Dalquist, thank you so much for making time. We wanted to get really the small business Main Street story as we continue to debate what's happening in Washington here on Wall Street.